Hola clase, vamos a hablar de pronombres después de preposiciones. So before I actually explain today's grammar, I want to take a minute and I want to just look at some English sentences and help you understand why this grammar point matters. So if I write the sentence, we speak to he, I would hope all of you would go, that is wrong. You don't say we speak to he. You would say we speak to him. Let's look at another one. She gave the keys to I. Again, I hope you're going, that sounds stupid. She gave the keys to me. In these situations, the subject pronoun, that is the pronoun we would use if the person was the subject of the sentence, does not work as the pronoun for the object of the sentence. Okay? In both of these cases, the person is what we call an object of a prepositional phrase. Okay? If you remember, we learned a bunch of prepositions. We've actually learned them over time, but we filled out our list when we did this ser versus a star unit. We are going to be working primarily with 4 prepositions. Prepositions are usually small words that show relationships, either positional relationships, above, below, next to, etc. But it can also be relationships like what direction an action is happening. I wrote this for English class. She gave that to me. I bought it from him, etc. So the 4 we are going to be working with the most are para, meaning for. It can have a few other meanings, but we're using it primarily in the case of for. De, which can be either of or from, depending on context. We are going to be using a, which can be both to and at, depending on context. And then con, which means with. Obviously, these object pronouns can go with any preposition, but if you know these 4, you can figure out most of the other ones. So let's go to your actual grammar book, and we are on Página 9 de tu libro de gramática, which I already pointed out on the slide you're on. Okay? So pronouns, pronombres, can also be used after prepositions, like, and I just went over these, so hopefully you're screaming them into the void here, of, which is de, for, which is para, to or at, which is a, and con, which is with. And again, it can be used with any other ones, but these are the big ones. So we don't say we talk to I, we say we talk to me. Now, the good news is in Spanish, there's really only 2 that you have to be concerned about. For what we would say is me in English, they will use me, M-I with an accent. And for you, after a preposition, after a de, a para, an a con, or some other preposition, you will use T, no accent. This accent matters. If you don't have this accent, it's wrong, because this means my, and this means me. So you need to make sure you get it correct. This one, accent, no accent, you wouldn't be counted wrong because T with an accent doesn't mean anything. But just for the sake of argument, it does not have an accent. Now, these guys are all going to be the same in Spanish. We're going to have L, we're going to have ella, We'll have usted, okay? But you should know that if you're translating in English, they would say him or her rather than he or she, okay? Nosotros is going to be the same in Spanish as it has been, but in English, it would have the word us. Again, we don't say they came with we say they came with us, but they'll use nosotros. Vosotros will still be the same. And then ellos and ellas will also be the same in Spanish, but again, the English word you're looking for is the word them. Okay? So the key with this grammar point is understanding in English there might be more different words. In Spanish, the only two you really have to change from what you've been used to is instead of yo, you're going to use me. Instead of you, you're going to use ti. If it is in that after a preposition position, if it's in that object position after the verb. Okay? Now, there's one other thing. When we put these guys with con, it's not con me. Okay? Instead, you say con mi go. And it's not contigo. It is, you guessed it, contigo. Okay? The rest are normal. Con él, con ella, con nosotros, but these two screwballs are weird. So, just to recap, the only new ones you have to know are for de, para, and a. If you are putting a person after de, para, or a, you will use me for the English word me. You will use ti for the English word you, singular. If it is after con, you will have conmigo, all one word, for with me, or contigo, all one word, for with you. For any of the others, you will use the word you're used to. So you would use el, you would use ella, you would use nosotros. But if you're translating from English, you will be seeing a word that looks different. So if you were translating the sentence, I talk with her. You were given the sentence, I talk with her. And you're like, Miss Gaze, what's the word for her? Well, you know the word for her. It's the same as the word for she. Yo hablo con, same word you would have used for she, ella. Don't let the fact the English word is different throw you off. All right, we'll do a little bit of practice now. If you have questions, of course, as always, pregúntame. Otherwise, buena suerte. Adios.